Rory Underwood, a man who's played for England, represented his country in 3 World Cups, scored 11 World Cup tries. You're a man with the highest pedigree when it comes to rugby. What have you made of the Rugby World Cup so far? Do you feel like it's kind of sparked off into life this weekend?
Well, yeah, it definitely has. I mean, it's like the first weekend, you always want it to start with a cracker, and I'm sure the organisers very much wanted it. And we've had quite a serving across the whole of that weekend from the very first night with France and New Zealand. The first half you could argue wasn't the world's greatest, but the match didn't have sparkling life, and for the host nation to win their first game, it just sets everything up. So the French are obviously looking forward to the next few weeks. And then we've had some interesting games, a cracking game, some interesting controversy over the weekend. So yeah, looking forward to the next 5, 6 weeks.
France are favourites to win the tournament, obviously as the host nation, and then getting off to such an impressive win first up. Do you think that's a
Yeah,
deserved accolade for them to be the favourites?
I think so. Yeah, I think what Galtier has done with the French team is bringing some really good coaches in, especially with Sean Edwards. The French always were fantastic going forward, but defence was always a bit of a question mark. They've sorted that out, and the French have been much more consistent as well. The standard sort of comment was always which French team was gonna turn up, the good one or the average one. Um, and he's made them more consistent, so more than often the good team turns up. That was a fantastic performance by France. Really,
Yeah.
they were under a lot of pressure. The whole nation was expecting, and to take on, yes, the Kiwis aren't as strong. It's probably the poorest, I think, New Zealand side that's ever come to a World Cup. But take nothing away from them. They are an exceptionally good rugby playing nation, and even a poor Kiwi side is still a good rugby side in anybody's mind. Um, I felt that in some ways that France and Ireland were my favourites leading up into the World Cup. Then when South Africa, they've really started putting things together, and they had a good win against New Zealand a couple of weeks ago. And I just felt that South Africa just bumped themselves into that. And of course, their match against Scotland was interesting. It Scotland are no mugs. They're a really good side. Greg Towns did a cracking job, and South Africa had to work really hard to claim that victory. So for me, I've always felt that France and Ireland were the two favourites. Ireland obviously number one in the world, and France, its home team obviously helps.
Yeah.
South Africa, you know, big presence, some fantastic results they've done over the last few weeks. And then I put some New Zealand just beneath that, and that's the way I think it is. So yes, I think one of a couple of the favourites. I would agree with France.
And Ireland obviously annihilated Romania, racked up 80 plus points.
Mhm.
They looked like one of the best attacking teams, but obviously you've got to temper that by saying it is only against Romania. But how
Yeah, yeah.
confident they be of going deep into this tournament?
Well, it's a good start for anybody to get a good win off the bat. I'm sure, no doubt, Andy Farrell will be looking at still some things that even when you get an 80-point win, there's always things that didn't go quite where you wanted it to. And is it good to start with an easy win,
Mm.
leading into some of the more harder games they've got? So it's a good start. It's boosted confidence. It's good to get the first game, in the World Cup off and running. Um, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing. The thing with Ireland is they've always flattered deceive in the past. They've always been a very good side, but they've just never managed to put it together for the 4, 5, 6 weeks of a tournament. Um, I think that's changed. I think with the way Andy Farrell has coached the side, the way that the years and years of experience of Munster and Leinster and Ulster having played, European type rugby, etc. I think this side is much more prepared to take on that grind of playing through a World Cup. And I'm looking forward to seeing how they get on.